Hello everyone, Ron Johnson here from L.T.L Tutoring Central. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about math. I don't do a lot of math videos, but I thought I would sneak one in here. A number of people have difficulty with multiplying and dividing fractions. Actually, fractions can be the bane of some people's existence. So I thought I would do a short video because if you follow some uh, fairly easy steps, multiplying and dividing fractions is not too difficult. So let's get started. Let's look at another example, multiplying 5/12 times 5/10. We, again, going to multiply the numerators. 5 times 5 is 25, and 12 times 10 is 120. Then we look at 25 and 120, and we think to ourselves, what will divide evenly into both of these? And generally try to pick the largest number. Sometimes you can do it by 2 or 3, but if there's a larger number, it will make your job a lot shorter. But it's not important as long as you get all the way down to the lowest numbers. In this case, 5 will work. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. 120 divided by 5 is 24. And we have 5 over 24. Nothing will divide evenly. No whole number will divide evenly into both of these. So we have simplified it as much as we can. Now, at the very bottom, I've shown you can also use cancellation. I'm not going to go into cancellation too much here. There may be other questions where I could have used cancellation, but here's a small example using the exact same question. So 5 over 12 times 5 over 10. I need a number at the top, a numerator, and a number at the bottom, a denominator, that can be divided evenly by the same number. It can be any number, but it has to be the same number. It also has to be, I'll just stress this, a numerator and a denominator. You can't go across. So in this case, we have a 5 as a numerator in the first fraction, a 10 as the denominator in the second fraction. Both of those can be divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And if I now multiply out, I have 1 times 5 is 5, and 12 times 2 is 24. So of course, the result is the same as what we had before, 5 over 24. But sometimes using cancellation makes the job easier. In this case, the numbers are small, so it doesn't make too much difference. But in other cases, the numbers are quite large, and when there's cancellation, you can make your job a lot easier. Now, let's try a division question. And we have here 6/8 divided by 5/6. It's not really a trick. The method with division is that you change it into a multiplication statement or question, and then you just use the multiplication rules. And how do we do that? We just change the second fraction, and we use the reciprocal. And the reciprocal simply means we flip it, turn it upside down if you like. So we're going to rewrite to 6/8 times 6 over 5. You see, we just flipped that upside down. Then we just do what we did before. 6 times 6 is 36. 8 times 5 is 40. Then we can simplify that by dividing both by 4, and you will result with 9 over 10. Now, you could have divided both by 2, but you would have to do it more than once to get yourself all the way down to 9 over 10. But it's actually not that difficult as long as you remember to change it to a multiplication question and use the reciprocal. Let's look at another division question, 7/8 divided by 1/2. So remember, we're going to use the reciprocal of that second fraction, so that becomes 2 over 1. 7/8 doesn't change. Then we multiply 2 times 7 is 14. 8 times 1 is 8, so we have 14 over 8. And then we need to simplify. In this case, we have an improper fraction. So what we do is we divide the numerator by the denominator. So 14 divided by 8 will give us 1, but there are 6 left over, and that becomes our new fraction. So we have 1 whole and 6/8. But 6/8 is not simplified. So we divide both by 2 and we end up with 1 3/4. Now let's look at some mixed numbers or mixed fractions, and that just simply means that you have a whole number and a fraction. So here we have 4 1/5 times 4 2/3. The first step is to change these into improper fractions. Normally we're changing improper fractions into whole or mixed numbers, and we will do that at the end if necessary. But here we first have to change them into improper fractions. How do we do that? We multiply the whole number by the denominator. So in the first one, we do 4 times 5 is 20, and then add the numerator, and that gives us 21 over 5. The denominator stays the same. In the second one, we do 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14, and we have 14 over 3 because, again, the denominator stays the same. Now we simply multiply as before. 21 times 14 is 294. 5 times 3 is 15, so we have 294 over 15. We need to simplify because that is, of course, an improper fraction. And so 294 divided by 15 gives us 19 and 9 over 15. In other words, 15 went into 294 19 whole times with 9 left over, which makes your fraction 9 over 15. We simplify 9 over 15 by dividing both by 3, and it gives us 19 3/5. And yes, you could use cancellation here as well, and I've shown that below. The numerator 21 in the first fraction and the denominator 3 in the second can both be divided evenly by 3. So in the first fraction you would have 7 as your numerator, in the second 1 as your denominator. Multiply 7 times 14 gives you 98. 5 times 1 gives you 5. And you have 98 over 5, which is an improper fraction. When you simplify that by dividing 98 by 5, you end up with 19 3/5, exactly what we had up above. Let's try one more. 6 2/3 times 8 2/3. Changing them into improper fractions, we'll multiply 6 times 3 is 18, plus 2 is 20. That gives you 20 over 3. In the second one, we do 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is 26. And again, it's over 3 because both of these had the same denominator to start with. Multiply 20 times 26, and you'll get 520. 3 times 3 is 9, so we now have 520 divided by 9, and that gives us 57 7/9. One more thing I should note is if you're multiplying a whole number such as 5 and a fraction such as 5/8, all you need to do is turn that whole number into a fraction, and you simply do that by putting it over 1. So it doesn't matter what the number is, you just put it over 1. So in this case we have 5 over 1 times 5/8. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 8 is 8. And when we simplify that, we have 3 1/8. So there you have it, a quick review and possibly reminder of how to multiply and divide fractions. If you're a little bit unsure or totally unsure about some of the operations that we did with fractions, or you want to learn more about adding, subtracting fractions, or doing other fun things with fractions, don't forget that I have an online course. I will be putting a link below if you're watching on YouTube, and it will have a coupon with it that will give you a great deal on the course. If that link has expired, so to speak, in other words, you're not getting the great sale price, just shoot me an email and I can provide you with a new coupon. The coupons on Udemy only last for a short period of time, but I can always make another one.